political banter of the host. It's just like, would you guys shut up for a little while? I mean, and I'm not speaking of anybody in particular. It seems like most of them do it on mainstream news, trying to be entertaining or something. And you're just like, what? Not entertaining at all. So,
or the people that flip flop on their positions back when it was
No.
you're killing grandma and you absolutely need to do this and we have no tolerance.
Okay, here's one. Yeah, it's the pet of the week. Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about the authorization of long range missiles in Ukraine into Russia from our president. But we have a cute little puppy here from downtown that we want to talk about, and we could like distract you with, it's Pride Month. How do we get Pride Month?
Yeah, well, a lot of people on our side and on Common Sense in general are actually trying to rename it Men's Mental Health Awareness Month based upon the fact of
yeah, it's probably closer to the truth.
I got no problem with these people if they would just leave me alone and
and the children alone.
Well, see, the thing is, they want rights, but they don't want rights. They want domination of your rights. It's like your rights don't mean anything if their rights. It's like you get superseded. So that's the problem with that whole thing, is that I don't care what they do, but do it.
But have you noticed, since this all started about, every time you turn around, they have a new holiday or a new month or a new week or a new day. It's constant with them.
You gotta look at this here.
Uh-oh, and his chair just broke.
All right, my chair just broke. So let me get this thing plugged. I do have a clip here I want to play. Now that we're on the subject, and this is from our friend JP. Are we ready in there? It is, thumbs up. There we go. And this will cover a bunch of subjects, but I think it starts out pretty well with the subject matter we're talking about.
Good evening, and welcome to We Lied to You News. This month, we're gay. Tonight we have riveting stories including Pride Parade brawling, a convicted felon is running for president, Fauci admits he was just kind of making everything up, and more. But starting with a question. What happens if you have cancer and your cancer develops cancer itself? Well, what you get is pro-Palestine protesters blocking the Philly Pride Parade. Try to solve that one. It's kind of hard to tell who's in the right when they're both in the wrong. But we know for sure that both groups are serving their country very well by standing with their current thing that is destroying our country. Will they destroy each other? We don't know, but they definitely tried, as a brawl broke out at the Philly Pride Parade later that night. Yet it was a rather unusual fight, as all the men were fighting like women and the women were fighting like men. It was a great way to kick off Pride Month by punching other people in the mouth because you're the group of love, acceptance, and inclusion. And the FBI got in on Pride Month by coming out of the closet as they proudly marched in the LA Pride Parade. Rumor has it they were later kicked out for being too gay. And Major League Baseball announced it's gay too. And the LGBTQ Pride Scouts were seen on the streets of New York recruiting new members. Looked like a very successful effort to me.
I wish you could see
Allergies. And in other news that you probably haven't heard yet, there is a convicted felon running for president. A felon named Donald J. Trump. Authorities finally brought this career criminal and current threat to the establishment to justice, where he was convicted of 34 felonies. We're not quite sure what the crimes were because nobody really knows, but you can be confident that they were severe crimes. This just in! Rest in peace, America, 1776 through 2024. The convictions seemingly helped this felon bring in record-breaking campaign donations to the tune of over $200 million in just days after the judge announced the verdict that he told the jury to come to. The felon then made an appearance at UFC 302 over the weekend, where the New Jersey crowd voiced their disapproval for him by cheering for him and showering him with love. But here's what many people got wrong about the event. After fighter Kevin Holland submitted his opponent, he jumped out of the octagon in what many erroneously thought was a move to honor President Trump. But luckily, our fact checkers have corrected what your senses perceived by stating that Kevin Holland was just showing President Trump how to escape from a cage in case he is sentenced to prison. And in further news, after his main event victory, UFC star Sean Strickland had this to say.
President Trump, you're the man, bro. It is a damn travesty what they're doing to you. I'll be donating to you, my man. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Congratulations, sir.
As you can see, everyone despises this criminal, and the more he's persecuted, the less popular he gets. It is kind of weird how dangerous men love Trump and most dangerous women love Biden. Moving along. Fauci now has to pretend to be accountable for his actions in new congressional testimony. And it's going pretty good. In his testimony, Science himself admitted that he just kind of made up all those social distancing rules that work so well. In his testimony, he succeeded in not being able to name one study that supported masking children. And for Fauci, the plot thickened like a Pfizer blood clot when he was asked if he had seen any studies that supported the 6-foot social distancing rule that he's been so sexually attracted to. His response was, I was not aware of studies. And he went on to say that would be very difficult to study. That's how science works. If it's difficult to study, don't study it, and instead just make it up, because that's easier and therefore more scientific. Stay tuned to see if Fauci will face jail time, because he definitely won't. And in a feel-good study out of China, revolutionary new airbags are being developed to protect the heads and hips of elderly people when they fall. The airbags deploy in less than 0.18 seconds. Once these airbags are made more durable and are ready for some rigorous testing, the White House has volunteered, saying they have an excellent candidate that can do some testing. That's it for today's news. Please stop donating to President Trump. We don't like it when our plans backfire. And please continue to social distance and mask your children, because even though Fauci said he made it all up, he still hasn't admitted he was wrong. So let's keep assuming he was right. And let's get one of those damn airbags to the White House. We've got a candidate we're trying to keep alive for a few more months. Good night.
Did y'all see where on D-Day Biden had a either an incident or an incident of the mind, either or?
Well, I'd say that it looked to
No.
me like he crapped his diaper is what it looked like to me.
That's what it looked like to me too. Like they said that there's a chair behind him that he was searching for.
I saw a meme with a
But-
kid actually crapping his diaper with the same pose,
Uh-huh.
and Biden next to him in the meme. It was pretty funny. It's really sad at the same time, because it's like, that's the commander in chief.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's supposed to be our president.
Who's running the show? I mean, oh gee, and they just walk him off the stage. He puts a lid on his day as soon as he gets anywhere. It's like the guy can't put two sentences together, or two words together in a sentence, for that matter. So no problem. Let's just march on. And he's their candidate for now.
You saw people that survived D-Day look more aware of their conditions than Joe Biden.
Isn't that's I mean, what do you say about that? Here's what I think. It's like no.
It could be Hillary. What difference does it make?
I don't even know how to respond to that. It's, Hillary is a freaking train wreck.
They're all a train wreck. But yeah, it did really backfire, because Trump ended up, what did he get, like $400 million or
I
something?
don't know. We should
I've heard
Google
different
that.
amounts, but yeah.
I've heard 200 million.
But whatever it was, they thought, oh yeah, it's not going to happen, and he brought
Well,
in more
I know
money.
I know he broke a bunch of records. It was like 20, 30 million in one day or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all working for you guys. Just keep making crap up and charging him with it. And it looks like all the cases are going to fall apart. I mean, it looks like it's not doing well in Georgia, and also in Florida. Looks like Fanny's got some problems. And now I can't confirm this yet, but we'll probably know by Monday. is that evidently one of the jurors was talking to their cousin, and they posted on X, I think, that that they were going to convict Trump before they actually read the verdict, which is completely against all rules. When you're on the jury, it's like they go over and over and over this. So there could be a total mistrial in New York now, which is going to throw the whole thing out, which gets the whole criminal thing off the table. He's not going to prison. So we'll stay tuned and see what that is about. I'm not sure completely because there's so much disinformation, and I hate to be jumping on the bandwagon, then find out that the bandwagon is a false.
Here's 50 million. His campaign reported right after the verdict. Within 24 hours was 50 million.
So I actually have a retraction based upon something I said last week, and that was that I thought they were not going to send him to Rikers, and that I thought they were going to put him under house arrest.
Oh, I think if they get a chance, they're taking him, putting him in.
Yep, and that's what I came to on it, because afterwards I got to thinking about it, and I started thinking, at what point did they decide they were going to pump the brakes anywhere along the path on
Never.
this? So if they're not going to do that, I mean, it's no big deal. Let's just decide he doesn't get Secret Service anymore and put him in there in one of the most dangerous prisons in the world. That's what they want. That's really what they want. I don't think they're going to let him go to house arrest anymore, honestly.
I asked last week, too, about could he still run if he was a convicted felon, and we got the answer yes in the chat room, or it might have been on the podcast. I don't remember. But anyway, when you stop and think about it, I was thinking about that more. Our founding fathers were convicted felons.
Oh, yeah, our founding fathers,
Yes.
on what they did, certainly were not friends of the crown.
Right,
Well,
exactly. So there you go. I'm just saying.
And I'm not going to compare Trump with Jesus, but Jesus was convicted and sent to death for a crime he never committed. So just because you've been sentenced and charged doesn't mean you're guilty either.
That is true.
And at this
That
law
is
fair,
right.
in another place and time in our history, this might carry a little more weight where they were actually had some credibility. But at this point, does the Democrats have any credibility? You got the third man at the DOJ going over to help Bragg. Bragg let this case go. I mean, we went over and over and over all the stuff and the details. It's so farcical at this point that if you have to believe in the fairies and gnomes in order to buy into this crap.
Well, and we're going to actually take the actual felonies and ignore the actual felonies to go after misdemeanors that we then are somehow going to turn into felonies themselves on 34 different counts. That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Right, but if you put a couple of them together, it adds up to a felony, right?
Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
Two wrongs make a right.
Yeah, something like that.
Three lefts do, too.
Yeah, or is it two rights make a wrong? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't even think AI could have got it as wrong as that.
So it's just off the charts, and then I'm seeing stuff like.
Well, the other thing that nobody's really talking about that really bugs me is the idea and the concept behind this Georgia trial that they're going after him for. And what a lot of people are just saying is he's going to get into office and he's going to pardon himself. But the problem is if you got the Georgia trial that's going on, that's not pardonable. You can't do a presidential pardon for state issues.
Well, but it's not a state issue.
On the Georgia one, it is, because they're going after him with the Georgia state court. So it's not
New
something-
York isn't.
New York isn't, but
Yeah.
Georgia has another one that they're bringing against him, and that one,
Except
based
that
upon their
they're
laws.
gonna throw that one out anyway because of all of the stuff that was going on with Fannie and the prosecutor and on appeal. There's no way that's
well,
going to survive.
it's all corrupt as hell. But I mean, what we just saw, I'm black-pilled at this point. I'm like, no, they're gonna send this through. Like, why wouldn't they at this point?
Well, it depends. I mean, here's why they wouldn't. If Trump gets elected, these guys have actually committed crimes that they can be prosecuted
All of these people
for.
have committed treason at this point.
So that could be a little bit of a chink in their armor because, Trump's talking about, I'm not going to go after Hillary. How would that look, putting a ex-president's wife in jail and stuff? But that doesn't mean you're not going to go after all these other guys that have committed crimes. And I mean, used lawfare, created statues in New York. It goes on and on and on. Look at all the money that Fannie Willis, embezzled basically on the court case with her, her boyfriend from the state, and they taking lavish trips. I mean, at what point in time were they charged with corruption and bribery? And it looks like in Arizona, the governor there, it looks like she's getting charged with corruption and bribery, and there's no election interference and stuff down there either, right? So, we could go on and on and on. But I do want to bring us back here, too. I got a little clip here from Maria Bartoloma. This is what's going on at the House, okay? You got time? Is this... Yeah, we got time to run it.
4 minutes.
We got time to run it before the break. So this is Maria Bartoloma talking to James Comey about all of the referrals with Hunter and so forth. And this kind of also puts another spin on it.
Referrals for Hunter Biden and James Biden over perjury, for lying to Congress. Where are the criminal referrals if that's all true? Where are the criminal referrals for FARA, for money laundering, for peddling? Where are these?
Yeah. Well, we're just beginning, Maria, and a lot of those crimes that the Bidens have committed, the statute of limitations has run out. That was one of the complaints that the IRS whistleblower said when we had them testify in our committee. But we're going to deal with those, and we're going to deal with Joe Biden. Remember, this is an investigation of Joe Biden. Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, Eric Sherwin, Devin Archer, these are all witnesses in an investigation of Joe Biden. This was always about Joe Biden. Now, we're going to do everything we can to hold Hunter Biden and all the different shady associates accountable. This is just the beginning, but the next step will be accountability for Joe Biden. I think everyone that's kept up with this investigation will be very eager to see what the next step is. This is the first step, these criminal referrals. Everything that we refer to the Department of Justice is within the statute of limitations. In fact, there's 5-year statute of limitations. So if Merrick Garland's Department of Justice doesn't take this up in an appropriate manner, then the next administration and a new attorney general certainly can. The investigation's already been done. And with these criminal referrals, we published a 60-page report of nothing but hard evidence that no one has made a comment disputing anything we provided in the evidence.
Okay, so these criminal referrals will stand for 5 years, beyond potentially Merrick Garland's time there and
Absolutely.
Biden's DOJ. Are you saying that we could expect a criminal referral against Joe Biden for money laundering? Is that what you just said?
Well, I think that it's no secret Joe Biden's committed many crimes, and I think that you're going to see a report very soon. That report is imminent. That'll probably be an interim report that updates everyone on the crimes that Biden and his administration have committed throughout this investigation and through the years of the Obama-Biden administration.
Well, you have subpoena power. Why not subpoena these people as well? Put them in the hot seat.
Well, We've subpoenaed all the associates. The only person we haven't talked to is Joe Biden. As you know, it's hard to subpoena a sitting president, or the Democrats would have done that to Donald Trump. But I think that what we've done in all of our depositions and interviews has been very substantive, and it's going to be very useful in accountability.
So I think that puts a little more intrigue in this whole thing, too, because what I see is a lot of people that are freaking out. Andrew McCabe came on the other day talking about he might have to move out of the country and some of the FBI agents and stuff. I think they're getting a little worried because if Trump does get in, he is going to get a new IG or a new attorney general, AG. And there's all these criminal referrals that are stacking up on all of these guys and the three-letter agents and also the news media and, you know, Hunter Biden's thing's turning. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. So, I think the worm is turning, especially when you look at the campaign donations to Trump. And I think this has backfired on these guys in epic proportions. So now, does that mean this is all going to turn around and life's good and we're back in a free America? I don't think so. I think we've got a lot of work to do. But I see things changing. And, you know, somebody sent me a really dark clip of the Joker. Talking about distraction and this and that, and I was debating whether I wanted to play it or not. I might play it after we come back. But the reason I don't want to play it is because it's a little too dark. It says there's no hope. And I don't believe that because, I mean, I believe that divine intervention can change a lot of things fairly quickly. If this is true about this jury thing up in New York, every one of these lawfare things is falling apart.
Huh.
So you're starting to see, I mean, who knew that if he got convicted, he'd break records for raising campaign donations? I mean, and I'm not saying that, Trump's divine. All I'm saying is, man,
But he's done that time and time again.
it's
this
kind of
stuff.
crazy if you think about this
Yeah.
guy. Teflon Don, takes on a new meaning a little bit with this guy. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I have a couple of things on that after the break.
Okay,
know
I was going to say, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt, but we do have to go to a break. Otherwise, they'll be cutting us off here. So we will see you on the other side and pick up the conversation.
Back in about 3 minutes.
You got it.
Time ago, on the front porch, I was 6 years old, holding up Old Glory high above my head. American pride was all I knew. It was understood red, white, and blue were the only colors flown anywhere. So excuse me if I don't bow down to your woke agenda all around. My pride flag has red and white bars, top left is blue with 50 stars. It's been through hell, come back every time. It's taking shots, been set to flames, but it's still waving high today and being saluted by the best.
Every day, your life is filled with choices. And when a health crisis happens, you need to be prepared to choose the best healthcare partner. That's when Shasta Regional Medical Center is there to answer the call above the rest. Ranked best in Reading and in the nation for patient safety and clinical excellence, you can be confident that when you choose Shasta, you are choosing superior care, safety, and excellence for you and your family. Choose Shasta at shastaregional.com.
Wind River Resort and Casino is about to make your summer sizzle with our $100,000 Bronco Bucks Swipe to Win. Swipe your River Club card daily to win free drawing entries or other instant prizes. Your Thursdays just got way more thrilling with our weekly drawings kick off at 7 p.m. Mark your calendars for the final drawing on August 29th for your shot at cold hard cash. 2024 Ford Bronco. For complete details, visit WindRiver.com or call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN. Find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
A Father's Day tradition returns to Benton Field Airport Sunday, June 16th. It's the local EAA chapter's Aviation Day from 7 to 2. Start your day with breakfast from 7 to 11. Served by the Mount Shasta chapter of 99s. $8 for adults, $5 for 5 to 12. Kids under 5 free. Airplane and helicopter flights will be available. Admission and parking are free. Come see aircraft of all kinds on display. Bring Dad and the whole family to Benton Field on Father's Day.
When people ask me for a recommendation for a heating or air conditioning company, I always say Alliance Heating and Air. Why? Well, they've been taking care of our HVAC system for 14 years. Professional, friendly, and willing to go to the extra step for their customers. I have found no problem too difficult or too minor for them to repair. I recommend Alliance Heating and Air with no reservations. You can reach them at 530-221-2642 or online at homecomfort.org. And they have 24/7 emergency assistance. Alliance Heating and Air.
We got something we both know and we don't talk too much about it. Ain't no real big secret all the same, somehow we get around it. Somehow somebody must have kicked you around some.
9, some of the free Fire Media, community radio for the North State. I guess we have a couple callers on the line.
We do. I'm not sure who's first. Is it Mark or
Mark
Stones?
is first.
Mark, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, and you?
Stops.
I'm doing good. Hey, I just wanted to make a quick statement, and then I'll get off and listen on the air. But Wynn made a statement last show that the system is broken and we need to fix it. And I don't agree with that. I think the system is working exactly the way the far left wants it to work. And unless we stop that and put the train back on the track, this is going to get worse and worse. I mean, just as an example, we didn't stop mining here because we weren't finding gold. We stopped mining because the government made us. We didn't stop logging because people don't use wood. We stopped logging because the government made us stop. We didn't stop using water to farm because farming doesn't work and people don't eat anymore. The government made us stop using water. We didn't stop energy production because people don't turn the lights on anymore. We stopped because the government made us stop. We didn't lose all the businesses in our communities because business isn't a viable option anymore. We lost all of our businesses because a crooked governor made them close. I mean, this is, we're not winning in court because judges are far left political hacks and activists, and they'll do anything. They'll lie, cheat, and steal. And once again, when Donald Trump was elected last time, I don't think he knew quite the breadth and the depth of the swamp. He does now. But ask yourself, what happens when you corner an animal, a very, very dangerous animal, with all of the power, the weight, and the weapons that the United States government can bring to bear? What will happen when a single individual corners that animal? And I think we need to pray for Donald Trump. We need to pray for his family, because there are horrible ways that could all go wrong for us, people of this nation. And if we don't start standing up, it will go wrong. And thank you guys, and God bless you.
All right.
Thanks for that, Mark. We appreciate that. And next we've got Stones on the line. Good morning, Stones. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. There's always a delay for some reason. But, powerful words by your previous caller there, Mark. And I've always said this, our peaceful remedies are almost exhausted. And, splitting the state is a peaceful remedy. Absolutely it is. The powerful words by Mark. Good reminder, absolutely. But I have a couple of things. So this last week, I would recommend people listen to Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, Dave Hodges, the Common Sense Show, and Alex Jones, InfoWars. You're going to get information in a very quick manner from very reputable sources as to what is happening. And
is Alex Jones still going to be on? I mean, last I heard that they were going to shut him down because of that lawsuit.
They're liquidating everything.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So he might not
Well,
be on.
look what happened to Tucker. Well, look what happened to Tucker. Tucker's on, and he actually has millions more viewers.
It's a good point. It's a good point because he'll just switch platforms, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. No, Alex will be fine. But here's the deal. Alex Jones, his site was compromised this week. It's now back up. Mike Adams had some of his food shipments seized by the government. Did you hear about Judge Napolitano and another person being taken off a flight? They were going to go to Russia for probably unofficial diplomatic reasons. Somebody in the Epoch Times, somebody up high in the Epoch Times, has also been, targeted by our current corrupted federal government. And this is all in this last week. So things are elevating very quickly with regards to censorship and First Amendment violations from the federal government. So that's a sign. That's a sign that something is coming soon. We don't know what. But listen to those three that I mentioned. You're going to get information extremely quickly from reputable sources in order to prepare for what's coming. And it's unfortunate that I don't believe that we're going to be able to stop. We're in the collapse. We just don't know when we hit bottom.
Well, things are collapsing right
until we
now.
Start to rebuild.
Yeah, things are collapsing right now. I mean, I've got a couple of follow-up stories. John Williams, the job market is collapsing. We got 63 banks that are looking like they're failing. So it's coming, and we're right in the middle of it yet. But who are the other two? You got Alex Jones. And
Dave Hodges, the Common Sense Show.
All right.
And Mike Adams, the Health Ranger.
Don't forget Steve
another
Bannon on
item,
July 1st
the bird
is going to
flu,
jail.
right? So the bird flu is coming. It's here. It uses a false PCR test Gee, does that sound familiar? False PCR test from the COVID.
Yeah, they
that
just
PCR test.
they're just
Well-
all that stuff is getting disproven. I think it's going to fall apart on them this time.
Well, unfortunately, until the farmers and ranchers start giving the middle finger to the FDA regarding these false PCR tests, and now you got to kill 40 million chickens, they need to start giving these people the middle finger and run them off their farm. That's what they need to do.
I agree.
They're starting to,
did
some
you
of
see
them.
the Riverside County Sheriff's short video this week? Bianco, I think his name is Chad Bianco, something similar. And it was really funny. He basically, he's a very patriotic sheriff down in Riverside. He basically says, maybe we need to just give in to the state. Let's give all the criminals, let's give everything to the criminals. Let's make sure that they're taken care of. And at the very end of his video, he says, and since we're going to coddle the criminals, I endorse the newly convicted felon Donald Trump for president.
Yeah,
So
I know.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny. It was good. Hey, a couple more things quickly, and then I'll get off. I do want to go over a very quick list why we don't want Joanna Francesca as our next registrar of voters. She continues to do things against fairness and transparency. She continues to violate election codes, not allowing observers to view the envelopes and the signatures thereon. She failed to post the 1% tally random selection process. She failed to post that, which means there was no observers available for the 1% tally precinct selection. And my humble opinion, that makes the 1% tally invalid and void. And that 1% is part of the overall certification of the election. And in my humble opinion, that makes the entire certification invalid. She's also, this last election, they did vote by mail processing with less than 48 hours notice required by law. That happened on 2 occasions that I observed. And then we all know how she did the 1% tally recount for Kevin Cry's ballots so that her friends did not have to pay for it. And then she tells Laura Hobbs that she had to pay for it. I mean, I can go down this list, but
well, I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty obvious she's compromised one way or the other. I think she's been under the tutelage of a very corrupt politician in Allen, and so I think that there's no way that she can be hired back on or kept on because you've got to change your directions here. You got to turn the ship about and go the other way, and you can't do it with the existing structure over there. A lot of people need to lose their jobs, and we need new blood in there who's actually going to start following the rules. One of them is that Mountain Top Media came out with the cost on the recounts,
right,
on the hand counts, and I mean she was saying it was like going to be 1,600,000 or something, and it turns out after a cost analysis it was going to be like 200,000 or something. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and so. Yeah, 4-day tally, boom, boom, boom. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, but just like Rich said,
206,000 exactly.
As far as the costs and everything, it was fine when it wasn't even the election wasn't even all the way called, and they did the count on Kevin's campaign.
Right.
And then it comes to Laura Hobbs. There's a 14 vote different, but they didn't do anything about that.
Well, it's been a one-way street. We've seen it. I challenged one of the election results a few years back, and they wanted $11,000 a day because they don't want anybody counting them except the people that if you're a guy that they don't want in office, then they make it easier for the recount. If their guy gets in office, they make it so difficult that you can't recount.
Yeah, and I have an issue with it costing money anyway. Isn't that their job?
Yeah, but it is. But and the major thing that I think was really egregious this last election cycle was they certified the election about March 28th or so. Do you think, this is a rhetorical, do you think when they certify the election that all files, processes, databases, everything, you would think they're all finished, completed, and filed and ready for public release? No? This is rhetorical. Once they sign that it's certified, that for me, that says everything is finished. Come and look at the public documents. Well, no. They held on to 2 or 3 majorly important documents, some paper, some electronic records, for almost 2 months after certification. And what did they do with those while they held on to them? You know me, I'm the cynic in the room. Tag, I'm it. They were probably altering those records because in that same 2-month period, they were aware of this election contest, and they knew that they were going to be going to court. So they were likely falsifying those records, and then they finally, about a week ago, finally released them for public consumption. So, yeah, nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah.
And, hey, I just wanted to say quickly, and then I'll get out of here, you can donate to Laura's case. Thank you for the donations. We still need more. You can go to laurahobbs.com, or you can go to lexrex.org, click on donate, and make sure to enter Laura Hobbs' name if you donate there. And their court case is this Tuesday, the 11th. It begins at 10:30. Let's fill that room up with patriots quickly, because, the libtards, they're just useless eaters. That's my humble opinion. And lastly, I offered last show, and I'll offer today, I bought a whole 55-gallon drum from Costco. It's on sale, of political middle fingers. So if anybody needs to borrow some middle fingers, just give me a jiggle.
All right.
Yeah, we need one for our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a good day. Great show as usual.
All right. Thanks a lot. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
That election thing, I never understood that certification thing, how they can go ahead and certify it. All of the Board of Supervisors, I think, voted for that except Patrick.
Right.
But how can they certify something if all the information isn't there? I guess if you make up the rules.
I think a lot of it has been political pressure, and because people just want to get it done and over with, and we got to stop doing that. You got to start. The reason we're in such trouble now is that they changed all the rules. We got to get back to the original rules, because why would we have problems with making sure that everything is transparent, free, and fair? Why is that such a big issue? I would think that both sides would want that, unless someone is cheating, and that's where you come back to. So,
yeah.
Laura Hobbs, Tuesday at 11. I believe that's at the courthouse. So people want to get there and get a seat.
I'm going to try to make that.
The other big thing, too, that I noticed a lot of people are not talking about, it's always Trump 24/7. But the problem that I'm noticing is that people are not focusing on the Congress and the Senate. And my concern is we don't have enough people that I'm seeing that are standing up that aren't rhinos, that are options to be able to vote for these guys. You've got guys that are, quite frankly, they're rhinos. They vote badly just about every which way. And that's one of the things that people need to be really more concerned about than necessarily the Trump thing. The Trump thing's big, but unless we have people that are in there that can support him in the Senate and in the House, then we're not going to ever get anything but executive orders.
Well, unfortunately, things have got to get worse before they're going to get better, and I think that's. But it's getting there to the point where people are, starting to see it. We looked at the campaign donations and the one day with Trump. It's indicators that are saying that people are waking up, because the real deal is that, you can't go around railroading everybody and screwing everybody over without any repercussions. They used to get away with it because of the media, but now there's so many alternative media outlets, they can't shut it all down. And so people are getting that information. And here's a story that I just pulled up talking about California. Governor Newsom caught charging U.S. taxpayers for illegal alien health care. And this is another thing. I mean, at what point in time do you go, gee, we got to stop doing this because we're broke? They're already having budgets. We're already going through a crisis. We got a bigger crisis coming because you can't just keep printing money. We're in the middle of a collapse. I mean, the jobs numbers are going down the toilet. I got a story, 63 problem banks about to fail. Maybe that's just a microcosm. We've got John Williams. The job market is collapsing. Businesses hit. We had 10,000 jobs lost in the state of California in the fast food industry just in the last month or so because of the stupid
minimum wage
thing.
Yep.
So they're killing the economy on purpose. I don't think there's any question about it. They're killing our food base. They're killing a lot of things. This is warfare. And people have to understand this. This is warfare. This is lawfare. Lawfare is warfare. This is Sun Tzu crap where, when you defeat your enemy, you just walk in through the front gates and there's no armed conflict. That's what this is about. So people can stick their head in the sands all day long and pretend that nothing's going on, but they are dismantling our economy. They're dismantling our institutions, and we're starting to fight back. And don't get me wrong, I think the pendulum's swinging the other way, but everybody needs to step up and get into this fight. Not just a few people, not just a few patriots.
Well, and this is already going to see the collapse no matter who's in office. And to back that up, I've got an article right here from the independent.uk. Dollar Tree, Family General, are the top list stores closed, announcing earlier that it's planned to shutter more than 600 Family Dollar locations by the end of 24. Red Lobster, despite the troubles, one longtime fan has vowed to continue being there.
Yep.
They've already ended up closing nearly 50 restaurants, including the one here locally. Applebee's, they're also slated to close and shutter more than 100 stores in 2017 and more than 1,500 locations across the USA. The Body Shop, I don't even know who that is, 61 stores closed. CVS, 300 stores at a year for the next 3 years, wrote company letter. Macy's, you've got 100 stores expected to close. And you've got Rue 21, that one just here locally just ended up closing. They're closing all of its 540 plus stores. Now, all of these people, these are projecting to close out all of these stores by the end of this year and all the way out to 2026. So remember, in a year or two, no matter who's in office, let's say Trump's in office, this is already something this is planned that they're going to do.
Well, let me feather onto that with this story about the 63 banks. According to the Federal Deposit, that's FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, first quarter report, the U.S. banking system is sitting on a collective 517 billion in unrealized losses and has 63 problem banks. The losses have been sparked primarily by a surge in interest rates that haven't gone down. We've been up over 4% for quite a while, bouncing around there and going sideways, but that surge in interest rate over the past 2 years, which has driven down the price of fixed income securities held by banks, is that John Williams is warning of and John Williams' shadow stats is warning of a bank bail-in that involves banks seizing customer deposits. See, when these things start to really hit people, like losing your deposits or losing your retirements when the stock market finally collapses, which it's going to at some point, there's no way around it. Is that when we get a collective wake up? I don't know. Is it when you can't feed your kids? Maybe. I don't know. When you can't pay your bills? I don't know. I mean,
well, if you look around the world, I just saw this article, in Zimbabwe, they introduced a new currency, ZiG, because of the inflation and everything. We've talked about that before, millions of dollars to make one of theirs. You know what I mean? Right. You've got all this going on across the globe. Of people saying enough, that this is happening.
This has been planned since 2016, and I know I've been harping on it to anybody that will listen, and hopefully now more and more people are waking up to it, but these CBDCs are coming. They're trying to make them a big thing.
They are trying, yes.
Well, and that's why you have the alternative currencies, whether it's Bitcoin or gold, silver, take your pick. But getting yourself out of the system and having a little reserve, maybe some food storage and stuff, is very prudent. And I think a responsibility, because even if we're all wrong and it doesn't matter, okay, no problem. You're still in a lot better position than you were as if you did nothing. So,
and back to the banks and stuff. What do you think? The shareholders are not going to get their money. When a company goes broke, your shareholders and everybody, they don't get their money back. They're last
well, it's
in
not
line.
just the shareholders. In this case, they're warning about bail-ins, which is going to be bank customers' deposits.
That's true too.
And that's even worse.
Worse,
because,
yeah.
And specifically, what they're planning on this is if you don't have any jobs, we then have to have some type of universal payment system in which these CBDCs and your social credit score then become how much money you're going to get.
Well, see, here's the problem with all that crap. If counterfeiting or creating digital currency was the way to wealth and would solve everybody's problems, why don't everybody just do this as an experiment today? Stop working, do nothing across the country, and everybody just wait for their check to come in or their digits to show up in their bank account and see how much wealth is created, because real wealth is in goods and services. Mm-hmm. Real wealth is in food and clothing and real goods. that actually people use and have to have, whether it's water or electricity, take your pick. But if everybody stops working, what do you think is going to happen to the economy? It collapses in day one.
Well, they can already see that because they are on digital. We've been on digital for quite a while. Look at the credit card. Everybody's living on credit cards. Look how that's working for you.
Well,
it's no, and they're going broke.
It's Ernest Hemingway. You know, when they asked Ernest Hemingway what it felt like to go bankrupt, he said, "Well, it was really slow at first.
It was nice at first, and then it wasn't.
Then all of a sudden, it was really fast."
Yeah.
See, because when it gets to a certain point, it just the lights go shut off, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, there was something like, I just saw a report, something like 35% of credit card holders are behind on payments. Imagine that.
Well, we're coming to a fork in the road. So, and people can either, be as prepared as we can for that, and be as informed as you can, and or you can just pretend that nothing's happening and the government's going to save you, which is the biggest problem with most of the people out there. How's that working out for the government saving you? It's just like locally. The more people that get on the government payroll, they're just as bad as the people that get on a government handout, because they tend to then support the government's position for giving them more stuff no matter what it is.
Right.
It doesn't matter where they're getting it until they can't. And we're starting to see that. That's why we're having budget hearings locally and so forth. You're starting to see the writing on the wall, and the rubber's starting to meet the road, is that there's a financial crisis is being created even locally, because you can't just keep spending and spending and spending and raising everybody's wages and spending. And at some point in time, you're going to run out of money. And then when you run out of money and then you have a hyperinflation on top of that, you're in real trouble.
Well, every time they print money, it makes the current money in circulation worth
Devalues
less.
it.
Yeah.
So you go through and you look at this article from Newsweek here. Small business in a crisis has rising numbers unable to pay rent. The company's latest small business report, published on Friday, found that 43% of small businesses, renters in the United States, were unable to pay their rent in full and on time in the month of April. 43%.
Well,
There.
let's go to let's take our theory here, and let's go to California and go back to the illegal aliens receiving health care. Okay.
You think that creates a problem?
Gavin Newsom has been caught charging U.S. taxpayers for health care bills of the state's illegal alien population. According to local media, Newsom filed nearly $53 million worth of reimbursements that the state now must return to the federal government. So California owes the federal government $5.27 million after improperly requested reimbursements for services provided to non-citizens, according to a recent Inspector General report. The Golden State claimed Medicaid reimbursements for services it provided to non-citizens with unsatisfactory immigration status. The report reads, the category does not include those seeking asylum or refugees. States are prohibited from claiming such federal reimbursements except in medical emergency situations, which did not apply to here, according to the report. So in other words, let's just flood the border and everybody go to the doctor, and we have to pay for it, and it's all free, and that's not going to hurt our budget, right?
Yeah.
And with that, we do have to go to the
Yep,
break.
we
We're at
are
the top
going
of the
to a
hour.
break. We are at the top of the hour. We will see y'all in about 5 minutes. You're listening to KCNR 1460 AM and 96.5 FM.
The news from Town Hall is brought to you on KCNR Shasta Redding by Shasta Regional Medical Center. Your life, your health, your choice. Shasta Regional Medical Center.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Michael Herron. Senator Tom Cotton, the Republican of Arkansas, said former President Trump's conviction in New York is a sad day for the American judicial system, for U.S. standing around the world.
What happened in New York is the kind of thing that America would sanction a foreign country for, interfering in an election and trying to imprison one's political opponent, something you would expect to see in the countries of Pakistan or Georgia, Brazil, not here in the United States.
Cotton says the judge in the case had previously given contributions to several Democratic causes, including the group Stop Republicans and the Progressive Turnout Project. Many are celebrating the rescue of 4 Israeli hostages this weekend kidnapped by Hamas.
That is the voice of Noah Argamani after being rescued, speaking with Israeli President Isaac Herzog on the phone. The video of her abduction was among the first to surface and was widely shared, with Argamani detained between 2 men on a motorcycle as she screamed, "Don't kill me." Argamani is one of the 4 hostages that were rescued, along with Almog Mair Jan, Andrei Kozlov, and Shlomi Ziv. Israel's military said that the hostages were rescued in 2 separate locations in the heart of Nuseirat. I'm Rika Ann Garcia.
Haiti's government says the country's newly selected prime minister has been hospitalized in the capital of Port-au-Prince. It's not immediately clear why Gary Conille was sent to the hospital last night, although he said he felt slightly unwell. Officials say he's in stable condition and should be fine soon. The Washington Post's new CEO and publisher, Will Lewis, is facing questions about whether he made recent efforts to conceal his involvement in the aftermath of a British phone hacking scandal a decade ago. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The new groundbreaking documentary, The War on Truth, unveils the facts about January 6th. They said it was a violent insurrection against the United States by a group of angry fringe MAGA supporters. But what if it wasn't?
I was paid to pretend to protest.
It's not protest, it's insurrection. Everybody that was on the ground on J6, police officers and demonstrators alike, were all set up.
Law enforcement has been weaponized.
They have this mystery story that we're some kind of domestic terrorist group.
For 3 years, the federal government has waged a war on truth.
On May 17th, the truth fights back.
Don't miss The War on Truth, available now. See the truth for yourself. Watch it today. Go to salemnow.com. salemnow.com.
A near miss, all because of a faulty assumption.
An air traffic controller's belief that a Southwest jetliner would take off from a Texas airport before a landing FedEx plane reached the runway caused the planes to come within 200 feet of each other. NTSB adds the Southwest crew is partly to blame for not telling the controller they needed time on the runway before beginning their takeoff roll. A potential disaster was avoided when the FedEx pilots saw the silhouette of the Southwest jet. 128 people were on board and quickly climbed out of harm's way. Jason Walker reporting.
A missile attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels has hit an Antigua and Barbuda-flagged cargo ship in the Gulf of Aden. The missile struck the ship's forward station, started a fire, but it was put out. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Vermont Republican Party is barred from backing a candidate with a felony conviction, according to the party's rules, but they're working to change that.
The state committee will not support or promote any candidate for elective office who is a convicted felon. Read the rules online, which govern everything from the party meetings to how delegates must vote at national conventions. This is now a bit of a problem since the presumptive Republican presidential nominee was recently convicted on 34 counts. The rule has been on the books since 2013, but by early 2022, the party appears to have amended the rules. According to the Internet Archive, the posted rules were changed by March of 2022 to allow the state committee to exempt a candidate from the rule by a majority vote. It's unclear if such a rule will affect how Vermont's GOP delegates vote at the Republican National Convention in July. Courtney Bennett reporting.
Today is Sunday, June the 9th, and some notable people are celebrating a birthday today, including sports commentator Dick Vitale. He turns 85. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of KCNR Radio and its sponsors. All shows are independently owned and broadcast for entertainment purposes only. Readers and listeners are advised that neither KCNR Radio nor its owners and agents shall be held liable for the content of this program.
And slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to under
Sovereign Minds,
I have one
Media, community radio for the North State, 96.5 FM, 1460 AM. And all of you guys out there that believed all the bull crap for all this time, all I have to say to you is get some help. You really need it. You need some professional help. Anyway.
I won't say that.
Yeah.
There is so much.
Yeah, you need some help. Okay, so let's go. You had an announcement, Dave, and then I want to do the town hall.
I do have a quick one. So on June 15th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the I-5 Adobe overpass, there's going to be lots of street parking and safe with high fences. Organizers in Lexington and Tehama for Citizens for Freedom are going to be doing a flag wave out there in support of the upcoming election, Trump, and America.
All right, very good.
Been seeing a few of those.
I'm going to go ahead and play it, Chris, okay? All right, very good. Here we go. Here's the town hall.
Good day, and welcome to this week's Town Hall News Brief. I'm Phoebe Johnson, your host, here with the latest local updates. June dedicates itself to raising awareness about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and elder abuse. PTSD, an anxiety disorder that can develop after experiencing trauma, leads to various distressing symptoms. Teal, the color associated with PTSD Awareness Month, is worn to show support. Concurrently, June highlights the issue of elder abuse. As our population ages, protecting the elderly from physical, emotional, and financial abuse is crucial. Purple, symbolizing wisdom and dignity, is the color for elder abuse awareness. World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, launched on June 15, 2006, encourages wearing purple ribbons and participating in events. By educating ourselves and others about the signs of PTSD and elder abuse, we can work together to create a safer and more compassionate society for all. This June, let us unite in raising awareness and supporting those affected by these important issues. While June brings attention to significant social issues, Shasta County faces its set of challenges as it navigates a difficult financial landscape. Shasta County's budget hearings kick off with a grim financial outlook. The county grapples with a 16.5% staff vacancy rate, the potential elimination of 127 positions, and a proposed 5% budget cut across departments. County Council and Elections Department highlight their challenges, while the Health and Human Services Agency, HHSA, faces soaring public service needs and a significant staff burnout. HHSA Director Laura Birch likens managing the agency to being dropped out of an airplane at 50,000 feet. Despite the challenges, the Board of Supervisors remain committed to finding solutions and serving the community. As the hearings continue, tough decisions lie ahead for Shasta County. As Shasta County grapples with budget concerns, the city of Shasta Lake finds itself in a heated debate over proposed changes to its water rates. The city of Shasta Lake's proposed shift from tier to uniform water rates has ignited a heated debate among residents. While some argue that the change removes incentives for conservation and burdens the poor and elderly, others believe that uniform rates ensure fairness for all. Under the proposal, everyone would pay $2.85 per 100 cubic feet of water, and the monthly meter fee would increase by 42%, from $31.08 to $44.29. The city cites infrastructure costs, inflation, and a new water storage tank as reasons for the hike. To address concerns about the impact on vulnerable populations, the city is considering implementing lifeline rates or assistance programs to offset the increases for low-income and elderly residents. This solution could strike a balance between equity and affordability. As the council prepares to reevaluate the rates on June 18th, residents hope their voices will be heard in shaping a fair and sustainable water rate structure for Shasta Lake. Despite the financial challenges faced by local governments, there are still opportunities for residents to explore and enjoy Shasta County, thanks to RABA's free summer bus ride program. RABA offers free bus rides throughout Shasta County this summer, allowing residents to explore without transportation barriers. The program covers various routes, including flex routes to the Reading Airport and the 299X Bernie Express. The goal is to encourage people to experience public transportation and access cooling centers, malls, grocery stores, and other quality of life opportunities without financial constraints. Don't miss the Beach Bus, offering free service to Brandy Creek Beach at Whiskeytown Lake on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. The Shasta Connect Sunday Transit Service, a door-to-door reservation-based service similar to Uber and Lyft, is free during the summer program until September 30th. Visit www.rabaride.com for more information on routes and schedules. Thank you for listening to your Town Hall Brief. Become part of the conversation at Shasta Lake Town Hall on Facebook or at Town Hall News on X.
So, just a quick note to what are the solutions. So, government is not the solution to the problem on all of these budget problems. government is the cause of the problem. The only way you're going to fix this is to downsize government and put more people out into the private sector that can work at producing goods and services, which is what is the creation of real wealth. All government does is take it from somebody else who creates it. And so when they take more and more and more and more, and people are creating less and less and less and less, pretty soon everybody suffers. Goods and services become scarcer, and everybody is looking to the government to solve the problem, and they're the ones that are exacerbating it and making it worse, because if they just get bigger and bigger and bigger, then what happens is everybody's dependent on them, and their standard of living gets worse and worse and worse, and pretty soon you're forced to have budget cuts.
Just keep taking, just like what Mark said earlier.
Yep.
It's the government that stopped it. It's the government. It's the government. It's the government. And with that, we've got a caller online. We've got Siskiyou Steve on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, every time I get on my motorcycle, I have a prayer. May I say it?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. God, release me in the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of your love, your power, and your way of life. May I do your will always. I say that prayer about 20 times whenever I'm on my bike, because I'm not scared, but I'm scared for the people around me and what they do. And I ride my bike for my own post-traumatic stress from Vietnam, and it helps a lot. But the other day, I'm heading down to Temecula to get me a new motorcycle, a newer one. And my bike, my old bike, used to get about 200 a gallon, or a tank, 200 miles a tank. But this new exhaust I put on it and everything allowed me, I was guessing, maybe 180. So I'm going to make it to Red Bluff. The second exit has a standard station there on the way over to 99. I'm going to make it to that station. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I get to the first exit and the bike coughs. And before I pass that exit, I'm able to jump off real quick. And it goes a little bit further and it coughs again. And then I coast right up to the tank, or to the
Gas pump.
fueling pump. And at a standard station, which I only put standard. It's just something I was told a long time ago, and I paid dearly for trying to find that cheap gas on my diesel truck, and so I don't do that anymore either. This corn-fed gas that they got out is killing our engines, our lawnmowers, everything. But Mark, you went down to Arizona not long ago, I think you said, and you witnessed all of the people across the country, correct?
Well,
I was coming back from Temecula, back up 395, and I'm going across from Bakersfield, going down. I'm going across Bakersfield to Lancaster to visit a 97-year-old aunt real quick, and then down to Temecula. But there's a water canal down there. The aqueduct is somewhere out there in the middle of nothing, and that was interesting. But then on the way back from Temecula to 395, I'm going through all this desert country. The sky is brown, and people are, both lanes, back going out, coming back in, are full of traffic and people. I mean, you just got to wonder, what are we going to do? And that turns me back to God again. I mean, I'm not one to go out there and say, we got to go kill 100 million people because we got too many people on the earth. No, there's a reason for all of this. And, I'm not a Christian by any means at all. I just don't go there, but I'm very, very, very spiritual, and I've been so blessed in my life. You better believe it. And that's all I got to say is that if we all pray, the energy behind prayer is infinity. So we need to pray more, and stand up for our rights and all of it that we believe in and stand for. But all of that comes from God. Thank you very much, you guys. I appreciate your show so much. And Larry Hobbs, bless you, lady. You're doing the deal.
All right.
you
Thanks
guys.
for
Thank
calling
you.
in. We
All right,
appreciate it,
thanks. I
Steve.
appreciate it. So I want to address the comment there in the chat room as well. And the comment was, so the private sector is just going to go out there and pave roads and house criminals. I didn't say that we have no legitimate functions of government.
Well, actually,
When-
to that point too, already most of our jails are privately run, privately owned.
Well, and I don't have a problem with legitimate functions of government. The government that governs best governs least. But let me just start by saying
We pay for it anyway.
here's a list of government agencies just in the state of California. Accountancy, California. Achieving a Better Life Experience, California. Acupuncture Board, Administrative Hearings, Administrative Law, Aging, California, Aging Department of, Agriculture, Labor Relations Board, Air Resources Board, Alcohol Beverage Control, Allocations Board, Alternative Energy and Advanced Transportation Financing Authority Board, Apprenticeship Council, These are all, I'm not even out of the A's yet, and these are all just the state of California agencies. These are agencies being paid for by the taxpayer, and they all have a mission that's supposed to be good, except what you end up with is an overreaching government that's so top heavy and that it's taking over things that it should never be involved in, to the point of that it's looting the population into poverty.
Right. And what's the percentage of the population just in California that work for the government? It's something like 75%. Or something.
60, I think it's over 50. I'd have to
Yeah.
get a number, but I mean, Art Council, Assembly of California, Athletic Commission, Auditor California, Automotive Repair, Baldwin Hills Conservancy, Bar of California, Barbering and Cosmetology Board, Behavioral Sciences, Biodiversity Council. So I'm at 25, and there are, according to this chart, 234.
Just in California.
Just the state of California. We're not talking city agencies, county agencies, federal agencies. Gee, there's no problem here. Oh, what are we going to do about paving the roads? Well, maybe we should stick to paving the roads and putting people in jail who are criminals instead of every other thing in the world.
Well, and to that end, all right, so Dubai has one of the most well-equipped police in the entire world. They're driving around a Lamborghini, as the police are. They do not levy an income tax against individuals. They have a 5% tax on goods and services. That's it.
It
That's
used
all
to
they
be
have.
that you went into the government as a public servant, not to get paid a lot, but to have a nice retirement package so you could retire. But you weren't there to get rich. Let's Google up the payroll on the people just in the county or the state. You know, Fauci was making $800,000 a year or something. At what point in time do you go, they're using the government as a weaponized against the people for their own ends and to enrich themselves? This is not real rocket science. It's not hard to understand.
Well, stop and think about it. If you've got over 50% that work for those agencies, and you got over 50% of the people on welfare or whatever you want to call it to the state, wow. That's a lot of people.
Well, what you end up with is total government control of everyone
exactly.
and everything and all goods and services. And then your economy starts to falter. And
Like it is.
Gee, I don't know, just like now, pretty soon the roads are not
much.
very good. Pretty soon they can't even pave the roads. And pretty soon they can't even take care of all the prisoners.
Well, yeah, they can, because they just kick them out in the street. They just let them all loose. So they're all
Exactly.
out there. Yeah.
So they're not even following the stuff they should be doing.
Exactly.
Well, and right now, I'm looking at the U.S. debt clock, and right now they're running a debt right now to where we are just throwing out $100,000 every 2.5 seconds. Every 2.5 seconds. Well, I've been talking here. We've just thrown out $500,000.
That's why central banking is a tenet of the communist state. You have to have central bank that then funds everything through digital currencies and universal income, so everybody can be taken care of, and everybody, except what they don't tell you is that the only ones that are really having a good lifestyle at the end of the program are the people who are in charge. Look to Cuba. Go to Cuba. Walk around a Cuba street and see how they're living. They're rebuilding and manufacturing their own parts for like 50s automobiles, because that's the only way they can have a way to get around. Is they become very clever at being poor.
Well, and this is what we see time and time again of all of these bastions of civil rights that turn around and give everybody all of this crap. Is their economies collapse. They can no longer feed their families. They have to spend 8 hours a day like they do in Venezuela just to get enough to be able to just to find the goods and services for their food to feed their family is a job in and of itself, provided that you have the money to do so.
So I think we probably answered that. What do you think?
I think that was fair.
There is a new dance craze going around, by the way. It's called
The Biden?
Do the Biden.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the latest dance craze. It's kind of weird looking. You know?
Yeah, it's
sort of like.
I think I'll skip that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the D-Day dance.
Kind of looks like you're digging for potatoes.
Good old Brown Joe.
Okay, so let's get back on track here somehow. I do want to do a public service announcement here. And I wanted to talk about this last week, but time gets away from us, and we do have some Fauci stuff to go over too. And so we have to have a couple callers. So maybe I'll hold this. I want to do a list of the grocery stores about this appeal food coding that's backed by Bill Gates.
Oh, you mean when you peel it? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and with that, I think it's Dick first. Good morning, Dick.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to give some information about something interesting that came in the mail. I'm a member of Gun Owners of California, and the second quarter report came out. And on the right side, it says, the following cases are a highlight of some of the most important cases that will affect California. There's 5 of them listed. 3 of them are somebody versus Bonta, and one of them is Baird versus Bonta, that challenges a ban on open carry in California. This case is working its way through the appeals court. So anyway, the governors of California are aware of this case, which is listed one of the most important cases that could affect California. So I just thought that might be of some interest.
Yeah, no,
yeah, that's nice to hear. I didn't realize they were realizing it or getting on the bandwagon with that.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, so governors of California, they say the following cases are a highlight of the most important case that will affect California. And Baird versus Bonta is listed as one of them about open carry. So, but I don't know that female judge who she has no incentive to hear this case at all, even though she's been kind of reprimanded a couple of times. She has done
Mueller.
nothing. I think she has no incentive to ever listen to that case, and I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Well, and real quick for our listeners that might not be aware of it, the Baird case is in regards to the fact that we don't have a Second Amendment right in the state of California. So, for instance, you have a concealed carry permit which can be issued, but that is not something to where everybody has that. And then you have a open carry which no one will issue. It has to be done by permit. So by definition, you don't have a right to carry a firearm in the state of California, which is completely antithetical to the Constitution and to all of our laws. So it looks like it's going to win. It's just a matter of being able to get the funding for it to be able to continue it through the cases.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
So anybody who wants to donate to that, send some money to Pecan.
Yeah.
At 14421 Old Oregon Trail, Suite B, Redding, California, 96003. And write in the memo, Second Amendment, and all donations are appreciated and go straight to the cause.
Okay, I just want to mention that the governors of California are quite aware of this case, and it's listed as one of the most important ones for California. And so I thought that would give some interest to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes you feel good that they're recognizing it and putting the information out there.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Dick. We appreciate it.
All right, very good.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
So
I think whoever else was on there is no longer there.
All right, so let's tee up Fauci. I mean, what a rat this guy has been. I mean, what a two-faced rat.
I am the science.
I mean, you can't even make this crap up. I mean, we're starting to see more and more and more evidence that are coming out. That
he was honest. He kept repeating that he was the science. That was the only science he had to back it up.
His science had to do with dollar bills, I think. So now we've got a study, and there's a bunch of them. We've got, so I got the first study in front of me, but also during the week, Fauci pretty much admitted that, he made it all up. The 6 feet distancing.
He lied.
He lied. The mask, all of it. There was no science. There were no studies. In a congressional hearing, they asked him, were there any studies behind this? No, he hadn't seen any studies on either one of them. Social distancing or the mask. So he pretty much just made it up. And when you think about that, this nonchalant, let it roll off the shoulder attitude, like, well, I was just doing it. No. This guy shut down businesses. This guy masked your kids. This guy
killed a lot of people.
This guy killed a lot of people with his rhetoric. People lost their jobs. People took vaccines when they shouldn't have. Now we're finding out, I'm looking at the study right now here in front of me from the World Tribune. Study, myocarditis and pericarditis only appears in children after the COVID vax, not infection. And so it's coming out more and more and more and more. In this study, which evaluated over 1 million English children, researchers at Oxford University found that myocarditis and pericarditis only occur after getting the COVID injection and not after the COVID infection. So what does that tell you?
Tell you that I was absolutely correct when I spoke before our board and lost my YouTube channel of 50,000 followers, but they didn't want that getting out at the time.
Well, because you got to follow the science. Remember all the crap we went through with our board? We did a recall because of this crap.
Right.
Because of Modi down there and his little tyrannical, holier than thou attitude.
Shut everybody down.
We still got one of the board members that are still on the board as a lingering
cancer to society. Just to give you an idea,
that's
back
kind
during the time when you had nurses and you had doctors and you had teachers that were all going before the board, I sat there for 7 hours and listened to all of these people saying, I'm losing my job, I'm losing my pension, I'm losing everything else. The science doesn't back it up. And those two would just sit up there and they didn't even have the common decency to look you in the eyes. They were playing on their cell phones or doing something on their cell phones for 7 hours while people were talking about losing their livelihoods and losing everything that they had worked for 20 years. Disgusting, despicable people.
So I got a question with Fauci. So do we get to put different charges together and make it above
this guy
a felon? I mean, what happens when you put two felons together? Do you get
well, it's kind of like putting
execute. I mean, what do you do? I mean,
okay, so when you put two rat traps together, do you get a bear trap?
Yeah, I mean,
don't know. This guy should be in frickin' prison. They should strip him.
Yep.
He lied about the Wuhan lab, where the virus came from, the funding that was going there. He lied. He'd been getting enriched. I saw clips of this guy,
It's constant lie. If you go back, he claims I didn't say anything about the mask and I didn't do
Not
this.
only that, these clips I'm talking about where he's going on talk shows and everybody's praising him and what a guy, and he's on the late night show and he's Mr. Science.
Fauci.
To my point, though, on the absolute despicable nature of our rhinos that are in office. We recently had a congressional hearing, and in that congressional hearing, they ended up going through and giving him praise about how great he was.
The Democrats
and a few Republicans, too, on our side.
I didn't see the Republicans.
Supposedly.
I didn't see the Republicans do it. But there are rhinos. There's no question. And I'm not saying that the Republicans are without sin here either. The Democrats are completely off the rails. They are freaking crazy, in my opinion. And anybody who's still supporting this Biden regime is either completely stupid, looks at nothing, or has their head so far buried in the sand that they can't think straight at all the things that these guys have done. And Fauci is one of the people that was supporting this whole thing from day one. You go back and look at how Biden treated it. Oh man, it's just unbelievable. And now they're talking about Fauci being a good guy still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can prove he lied and lied and lied and lied again. And look how much money he made.
I still see people out there wearing freaking masks.
Oh, I have too. Yeah,
it's like you might as well put a beanie and Cecil dunce cap on and walk around blowing a freaking whistle or something. Here I am, stupid, because I mean, unless there's some other circumstance that I'm not aware of.
Well, some of them, in fairness, could be another reason that they're wearing a mask.
Okay.
There's
Granted.
Yeah, it's possible. All right. It is possible.
But as far as COVID, they absolutely do nothing.
Well, we do need to pick this up on the other side of the break. So you're listening to KCNR, 1460 AM, 96.5 FM. We'll see you in about 3 minutes.
It's all the same. Only the same. Every day it seems we're wasting away. Another place where the faces are so cold. I travel all night.
Flag Center. Are you thinking about a new flagpole for Memorial Day or 4th of July? Well, now is a good time. Currently, our high-quality Titan telescoping poles are on sale at prices too low to advertise. These beautiful silver or dark bronze poles are backed by a lifetime warranty and wind rated at 95 miles per hour. The Flag Center, 2124 Hilltop Drive, since 1982.
North Valley Distributing at 3081 Crossroads Drive in Reading is a proud sponsor of Reading Colt 45 Baseball. North Valley Distributing is a major supplier of electrical and electronic products for the industrial and construction markets, featuring services with concentration in industrial automation, lighting, distribution, controls, data communication, solar, and energy solutions. North Valley Distributing, a proud sponsor of Reading Colt 45 Baseball. Call 530-222-1500. That's 530-222-1500.
A Father's Day tradition returns to Benton Field Airport Sunday, June 16th. It's the local EAA chapter's Aviation Day from 7 to 2. Start your day with breakfast from 7 to 11. Served by the Mount Shasta chapter of 99s. $8 for adults, $5 for 5 to 12. Kids under 5 free. Airplane and helicopter flights will be available. Admission and parking are free. Come see aircraft of all kinds on display. Bring Dad and the whole family to Benton Field on Father's Day.
Founded in 1995, GI Pathology is the only physician-owned laboratory in the United States dedicated solely to the practice of gastrointestinal and liver pathology. The company provides the highest quality GI pathology diagnosis made exclusively by one of our fellowship-trained gastrointestinal and liver pathologists. GI Pathology delivers results to its Northern California
A racist. If you like communism so much, I'll pay for the vacation. Supporting the truth on its core doesn't mean that you're supporting the war. Supporting the freedoms that they're fighting for doesn't mean that you're supporting the gore. Supporting the country you living in, loving it doesn't mean blindly supporting the government. World that we live in becoming so troubling. Turn off the media, we should defund it. When other countries protect their borders, it's not a controversial subject. When we say close to southern border, it seems to get people upset. I don't care what names you call me, we have $40 trillion of debt. Give Uncle Sam like half my money, then I get a little refund check. America first, the people are hurt. Confessing the street with nothing to eat and nowhere to work. Sitting on dollars overseas and fighting these wars. No love for these politicians if they not America first, America first, America first, America first, America first, America first,
Sovereign minds, America first is what I always say. That's
Who
pretty
is
good.
that one? I
That's,
haven't heard
that's
that
high
one.
res.
Awesome.
Yeah, he did that last week or the week before. I try to keep up on all this stuff. I don't like rap, I'm honest, but I'll tell you what, some of these are not bad. I mean,
They're
the
the ones that
message
are
is
speaking the
great.
truth right now. I mean, that's the big thing between Tom McDonald, High Res, Playboy the Beast. I mean, these guys are out there killing it.
And who are they supporting?
I don't know.
I just saw
I don't know
an
who
article
Playboy
about
or
it.
the Beast is. I got to figure that one out. Yeah,
He's good.
Oh.
There's a few of them, but just so much of it.
He's
like
not
Adam
really
County-
radio friendly.
Yeah.
And same with Adam.
Well,
Calhoun.
I
That
have
was
to be
really
careful because I can't just willy-nilly play anything. I have to screen.
There's a
them,
few of those,
you
but
know,
their
yeah.
message
I mean,
is great.
Even like Aaron Lewis, I got to.
You gotta, yeah.
Screen him, So, but anyway, so I'm back on this university study. The university found that the myocarditis and the pericarditis only occur after a COVID injection, not infection. While rare, all myocarditis and pericarditis events during the study period occurred in vaccinated individuals, the authors wrote in the study. The study compared health outcomes among COVID vaccinated and unvaccinated children ages 5 to 11 and adolescents ages 12 to 15. Vaccinated minors were compared to equal number of unvaccinated, and the children who took one dose were compared to those who took two doses. So the data is pretty clear that it shows that only the heart problems were documented only in the vaccinated. So adolescents with higher incidence of post-vaccine myocarditis, they had higher adolescents had a higher incident of the vaccine problems. So
and mind you, back on October 21st of 2021, that was when I went before the board, and I expressly used the information that was provided by Dr. Peter McCullough, and it was showing that in males specifically, at that point in time, you had 8% of the male children that got the shot were going to develop myocarditis. So you could either have 8 in 100 children that would get myocarditis from the shot, or you could have a potential death rate of 1 in 100,000. For your child based upon the actual COVID, which even that we knew later on was more and more BS. But still, I'm probably going to get taken down off of YouTube just for saying this again. ScrewTube.
Did you see where Dr. McCullough delivers a message to the parents that childhood vaccine schedule is not what we thought? I'm telling you, in total, it doesn't look good. On the 1986 Vaccine Injury Act, even admits vaccines come with unavoidable harms.
One, is it any wonder why our nation, the greatest nation in the world, has the highest instance of SIDS and infant mortality rates? That's not even including abortion. Once you get abortion in there, then it just skyrockets. But outside of that, outside of the willingness for all these corporations and government to kill children actively, you also have the instances to where you've got all of these vaccine-related injuries, apparently, they appear to be killing these kids.
Yeah. I mean, over in the UK, it's 4,423% more likely to die from the vaccine.
So here's a couple of updates just in case. I mean, I hate even reading this stuff because it's dark. I mean, it's really crazy. So this is law professor Dr. Francis Boyle, who drafted the 1989 Biological Weapons and Anti-Terrorism Act, claims COVID-19 and the mRNA injections are weapons of mass destruction in a new affidavit. And so this is a Harvard-trained professor and architect of the Bioweapons and Anti-Terrorism Act, which was unanimously approved by both houses in Congress and signed into law by George H.W. Bush, has issued an affidavit declaring that this COVID mRNA vaccines as biological weapons and weapons of mass destruction. And this is all being reported. So he's submitted part of an emergency petition for writ of mandamus in Florida, argues. So I don't know how true it is, but all I'm saying is that there's some people that are coming out that are starting to say a lot of things. And if you've got the jab, you might want to be, looking at protocol to reverse any of the effects. So then I got the UK's Telegraph front reads, COVID jabs may be blamed to increase in excessive deaths. So, we've seen people, we've seen the sudden deaths, we've seen all this stuff. It came out of a lab in Wuhan. Fauci lied about everything. At what point in time does 2 and 2 equal 4? I don't know. you're going to have to think for yourself here a little.
Well, and if you do any homework, you can see even other countries that are not allowing the jab anymore. They're taking they're saying no, we're not going to have the vaccines. It's bad.
Okay, so with the new bird flu, are you going to get vaccinated?
Oh, well, they already have the vaccine for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they did that. With that, we do have a caller on the line. We've got Andrew and Bernie. Good morning, Andrew.
Hello, gang. Hey, listen, I listened to Mike Adams, the Natural News, and he had a guest on, Dr. Artis, and he said he was curing myocarditis with nicotine patches.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Boy, now we got a reason to start smoking. Is that what you're trying to
Well,
He said patches.
Okay, nicotine. Nicotine is a natural nutrient. Tobacco is the number one amount of nicotine. The next plant
Tomatoes.
is eggplant. Tomatoes or your nightshades. It's in cauliflower, for goodness sake. It's not addictive. They had a,
I
golly.
didn't know nicotine was in tomatoes. I love tomatoes.
So do I. They had the big heads of Big Tobacco in 1992 or 1993, and were asked the question, was nicotine addictive? And to a man, these guys are under oath. At that time, there was some law and order in 92. And they said to a man, no, it is not addictive. It is the stuff they put in the
All the
cigarette.
chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
2000 something chemicals.
addictive. So anyway, I've never seen anybody stop and take a cauliflower break at work. But a cigarette break, certainly. Check it out, Dr. Artis, and I believe that's who the physician was, and he's curing the scar tissue, reversing the myocarditis effects in 14 days.
Wow.
That's interesting.
So I think I would look into this. Now,
I think
my
just
tinfoil
acknowledging that there's a problem might be a lifesaver, because then you might take some steps to do something.
Well,
Oh,
I
sure.
noticed in the original Surgeon General warning in regards to cigarettes, it actually referenced cigars, and they found that 1 to 2 cigars per day did not actually increase any instances of cancer, and it also did not appear to be addictive in the original Surgeon Journal, from what I remember anyway. It was kind of an interesting study.
Who paid for the study? That'd be my first question.
Well, and
Well,
especially
yeah.
with big tobacco, there's always that. And I know for a while I was addicted to those pouches that were going around. And I was on them for probably 2 years, and I finally ended up getting off of them. And I credit that to Kratom personally.
But isn't it interesting? Something as simple as a nicotine, we're finding out possibly the cure that or be able to help with something like that, some disease or health problem that is right at our fingertips.
Exactly. Now, we have nicotine receptors in our cells.
Mhm.
And if you get nicotine on those, it prevents any corona from attaching, i.e. the cold. Dave, when you were doing the patches, were you getting sick or not? Were you
No.
getting cold?
No.
Why is that? Because you were attaching nicotine to your nicotine receptors. They're hiding a great deal of information. In fact, Biden wants to remove the amount of nicotine by 2030 by some ungodly amount. In fact, they want to remove it from our consumption totally. And they
Oh, he's
want
going to
us
take
dead.
my cauliflower away?
Yes, and your eggplant. Delicious, delicious eggplant.
So I guess
Anyway.
the old phrase "roll another one just like the other one" doesn't really.
My friend.
Well, now I don't believe it. Well, okay. Also, we have the things in our cells for cannabinoids. So there is helpful benefits to marijuana. And I also got to say, when Trump first got into office, he made cannabis lawful to grow, and not to get high kind, but for the fiber, and because we needed to make rope.
Mhm.
And the reason we need to make rope is so we can hang all these treasonous SOBs with good old American-made
Allegedly after a fair trial.
Well, no, of course.
Gotta like
Fair
that.
trial, absolutely.
This isn't advice, but get your hemp plants.
All I can say is you're a legend in Bernie, Andrew.
I'm definitely here now, and it's not as warm. We have a nice breeze. I'm sitting under a tree. It's lovely.
You just had to throw that into us, right?
Yeah, I did have to. Anyway,
Yeah, sitting out over here at 105.
Thanks, Thanks.
We
Al.
appreciate it.
All right, we got
It
another.
got to below 50 last night, so it was very comfortable to sleep.
I'm
anyway,
getting chills now.
I'm sure you are. Thanks, Mark.
All right.
All
And,
Have a good one.
Have a
Talk to
good
you
one. And with that, we'll go to Lori. Good morning, Lori. Lori.
Are you on, Lori? You're on
Yes,
the air.
Hey. Hey. Sorry, there's always a delay. I was just going to chime in with this whole Fauci nonsense. There is a 7-minute approximate video by StuPeters.com, and it's also on YouTube, discussing this entire fakey hearings, fake testimony, the fake Republicans, fake elections, fake
Bingo.
testimony, all of this crap. And this guy still gets to walk the planet and he expects people to call him Dr. Fauci. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene, Georgia representative. She says, I will not call him a doctor. He's a mass murderer, genocidal freak, and I am stunned that people still give him the time of day, and he just walks around like he's just, something else.
He'd
I'm
make
gonna
Dr. Vorkin blush.
I'm going to go ahead and screen that tonight. We will be doing a podcast tomorrow. Maybe I can incorporate it. I have to be careful and cautious. I don't quite have the leeway on the radio as I do at the podcast. So I'm always a little more hesitant to just grab anything and start. I've been punished by it on several occasions. So I'll take a look at it, and maybe we'll get it up on Rumble tomorrow.
Yeah, lots of good stuff, and he doesn't swear. He doesn't F-bomb. He doesn't, he's an anchor person in his own right. But Stu Peters, if I correctly remember, he had expecting a daughter, baby girl, boy, whatever, and he took the jab. So his obvious insane fury is well understood, and he doesn't discuss it in this particular. It's 12 minutes video because he covers some other stuff with raw milk and other remedies and so forth. And
Fauci's a chiropractor?
No, Dr. Brian Ardis.
Oh, I know, but I was looking in the chat room. It says he is a
It got
chiropractor.
split up.
I see. Okay, I was going to say Fauci's a
if you accidentally
chiropractor.
hit enter,
Well, the head of Pfizer is actually a horse doctor, so.
Well, yeah, but that's not the same thing. He's not in charge of the World Health.
yeah, but Dr. Brian Ardis is the one that exposed the snake venom kind of thing and the toxic, all of that, because that's what was starting to be covered in the research. And he also was the one saying people want to chew the nicotine gum or put on the patches because what Andrew was saying is very true. That there are receptors. However, when people think you can just smoke a cigarette, your cigarettes are full of hundreds and hundreds of chemicals, including benzene. Yes, you will get cancer. Yes, it will be awful. Yes, there's a multitude of every system in your body is destroyed by smoking or vaping or whatever. So just to kind of follow, there's a lot of things in play right here. So thanks for covering Fauci. I wish him the fastest trip to you-know-where.
Yeah,
Super hot.
Yeah, he can pretty much.
Actually, I don't know if it's fast trip. Maybe he needs to be slow walk.
Slow walk.
Yeah,
slow walk.
Okay,
down
there's
the
a point
short
to that too.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Only because look at how many people are being tortured, how many families, divorces, job loss, suicides, people that just fell apart because of this horrid, massive scam. And of course, it's connected to the elections. Give me a break, people. Please focus.
Yeah.
Pay
There's
attention.
so much. There's so much.
I know. Anyway, carry on. You guys are great.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys later.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, we're the crazy ones. The ones that actually seek truth. It's like I told somebody the other day. I just want the truth. I'm a truth seeker. If I find out what I'm talking about, thinking about, and espousing is incorrect, I will reverse my position anytime. I just want the truth, and so we were lucky because a lot of people, didn't have a choice about buying into some of this crap, and being as independent as we are at this point in our business and our lives, we didn't do anything that we weren't sure of at first, and it's kind of probably saved our lives in a lot of ways. Because
but look at all the people that didn't have that option really in the beginning. All the nurses, the healthcare workers, the teachers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. That it was either you get this done or you don't feed your family, basically.
Well, and then
that really sucks.
You got to hat tip the guys that just walked. Hey, we're not doing it.
When you look at our military and our police and all of the establishment, I still, to this day, believe that was a way they ended up getting a lot of God-fearing, good, constitutional aware people out of our government and out of our military and out of our police forces. I mean, what we got left with are the guys that are willing to be the jackbooted thugs and say, yeah, beam me up, Scotty. Because if they're willing to jeopardize their own health and put their own safety at risk, don't you think they're going to do that for you?
Yeah, but they wouldn't try and steal elections.
Nope. It's all transparent.
That's so stupid. Oh, yeah, trust the science, trust the election, trust the machines, trust us. You know something? You know, the double barrel family friendly to all of you people who just buy into all this crap constantly and never check or think for yourself or have any critical thinking. You know, the real deal is I haven't trusted these guys for 45 years after seeing some of the things that they've done at every level.
History will not look kindly upon these people.
So,
yeah. And how many people, I mean, how many charges could you put against Fauci? I mean, it's endless. All the people that was affected from him.
Well, and that's probably why we never will have the truth come to light. Because if this is so big,
you're
with
so
all the
cynical.
super
Come on,
cancers, with all
it's
the rest
coming
of
to
the
light
stuff.
now. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't think that they're going to go after him. I don't think.
Well, that's a different story. You know, I'm not saying let's get the truth, but you know, do they prosecute him? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what, the more pressure that gets put on these people, they'll throw somebody to the wolves.
Well, and I think we'll have the truth, but we'll have the truth in the same way that we had the truth on 9/11. Like, we still see, all right, Building 7 was announced 23 minutes before.
I totally agree, but that entrenched, see, it's taken time. See, what you got to look at is like Vietnam. You know, the Vietnamese, when they look at a war, they look at it 100 years. They don't look at, what's going to happen in 10 years. They look at winning the war over a 100-year period of time. And you have to look at it in the long scheme of things. It takes time because we had to reverse a lot of propaganda. We had to reverse the machine of the media. We had to reverse. There's a lot of things that had to be reversed. It's being reversed, and it's going to take time. But if enough people stand up over time and get the problems fixed, they will demand that these people see justice at some point. And that's what I'm hoping for.
We need to. We need to, as a collective body and as a collective people, we need to start standing up. We need to start getting all of these corrupt politicians out of there, and we need to start replacing them. And we need to do it by whatever means necessary.
But we have to start at the local level. That's where we got all the power to start with. You can't start at the top and make a difference. We've got to gain the power
and
and
you
the
also
people.
you have to keep educating the children because they're going to be in charge. And
that's true, too.
You've got to start getting them into the truth. And
Gen Z is more conservative now than just about any other.
Yeah, because they're used to the medium that we've got. They're used to not looking at mainstream.
They're tired of the censorship.
Yeah, exactly.
They're tired of being told what they can and cannot post. They're sick and tired of it. I know I have been for a long time, but the fact of the matter is you had Gen X that really couldn't care. They don't care. And then you had the millennials that they were just trying to survive. Gen Z sees the crap show that it is.
See what happens
they're
is
hampered.
it's history. As things get worse and worse and worse, and people get thrown more and more out of their comfort zone, they start looking for answers. And that's kind of where we're going. So we'll see, especially if everything collapses
Because
like we think.
People want to survive. When it starts happening, you know, your instincts kick in. I want to survive. I don't want to die.
So with this survival in mind, I want to give the list of grocery stores and growers that have used the appeal food coding that is backed by Bill Gates, and do a little story on this before the end of the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
A health researcher made a list of stores and growers in their policy around using the Appeal used on conventional products, and Orange Appeal used on organic produce food coatings. He wrote that as of May 12, 2024, the appeal coatings have only been commercially applied on apples, cucumbers, avocados, asparagus, limes, lemons, grapefruits, mandarins, mangoes, and oranges.
Only.
The coating is odorless, tasteless, and clear, and there's no way to tell when it is used. The vast majority of grocery store produce is not treated with it. To remove such appeal as possible, use vinegar and baking soda, not both.
That causes a chemical reaction.
It does. You want to use one or the other. Don't put your baking soda in the vinegar. You'll probably have an explosion of foam. So anyway, and the produce, and brush it with cotton, hemp towel, or whatever. The following list accurately reflects the disclosures and policies of growers and grocery outlets and retailers on selling produce treated with the appeals at appeal used on conventional products. Okay, so it looks like Natural grocers issued a public corporate statement saying they do not carry or use any produce with this product. Sprouts, farmers markets, Costco partnered with Appeal back in 2018, but recently stopped carrying the produce treated. But they've lost my trust, and so I'm not going to shop at Costco much more for fruit and vegetables like I used to routinely. Publix will not purchase any product that uses it. HEB, I'm not sure who that is, does not. Central Market, Whole Foods would not give a clear or straightforward answer. Let's see, we go back to
that first one you read. What United Grocers? Was that the first
Natural Grocers?
Oh, I thought it was United because that is one of the biggest suppliers, or was, for like restaurants and stuff. Was them.
Right. Okay, so Trader Joe's no longer sources any products treated with Appeal's food coating. They have not released a public statement or policy. They've been requested to do so. So all I'm saying is you got to be careful out there. It's getting to the point where you can't trust these people. Jimbo's, the San Diego organic grocery chain, publicly states they do not use or carry or accept any products treated with this. Azure Standard does not use or carry any products containing a pill. I'm starting to go more to Azure Standard at this point because I'm losing trust in Costco completely. Kimberton, Whole Foods, local PA health food store does not carry any of the products. Aldi, Kroger. So there's a complete list. I'll post it in the chat room. This is off of Need to Know News. And I'm sure there's other sources that will give you a fuller list. But my point is that you got to be careful out there because these people treat your food, and anything that Bill Gates touches, I'm questioning for sure.
Well, Bill Gates' father, renowned eugenist and close friend of Margaret Sanger, said that we need to depopulate the world, and Bill Gates also believed that that was a way to go about things as well, and a lot of his funding goes towards that. So I don't know if I'd necessarily want to eat food from somebody that wants to kill off portions of the population. Just me, personally.
Well,
yeah, was it Margaret Sanger, the one that founded Planned Parenthood?
Yeah, the eugenics founder that believed that we needed to eradicate all of the black and brown people, which is why still to today you used to have most of the Planned Parenthoods, which are in minority communities.
But before we move on from food, and I can't find it right now, did you see where they were recalling a bunch of the frozen meats that were coming into the United States because they didn't test them?
And a lot of the cream cheese right now.
Yeah.
Shop locally, I'm telling you. And start, if you don't have a victory garden or something to grow your own food, I'd be making contacts with farmers markets and a few other places where
you can know your local farmers.
Yeah. So we're about at the end of the
and
show.
Ranchers.
And there you go.
And the ranchers.
We got about a minute left.
I got one quick story. Attack on one is attack on all. Gavin Newsom is trying to put it together where you've got about anywhere from 5 to 17 states which are going to try to ban unanimously travel and everything else to any of the other states that do anything that they don't like. So that's something to look into. The Hill, an attack on one is attack on all is the headline.
Who's going to do that?
Gavin Newsom. So he's putting together an
I thought you said Adolf Hitler for a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Aren't they
pretty
same
close
philosophy?
But he was allowing people to come over and doctors from Arizona for abortions, right?
Well, there's 17
yeah.
states now on California's ban list under a 2016 law that automatically adds states which discriminate or remove protections for people based on sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, abortion, anything like that.
Gavin Newsom has got to be the slimiest piece of garbage.
No, he's up there with Fauci, that's for sure.
He just hasn't got any repercussions yet, but I'm certain they're coming at some point. Anyway, government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is force, and force like fire is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. You're listening to Sovereign Mind Radio.
All gun control's racist. See y'all next week.
Simple man, working with my hands.